Hey chat, how about we do a quick Jacko overview before we get on the game day? Is that like a good plan? Just go over everything about it real quick. Talk about what makes you strong stuff and how to use the tools. I think that'd be a good start. All right, so Jacko. So we're gonna be talking about her unique mechanics. We're gonna be going over her normals, her specials, and supers. It's really not gonna go much into her combo potentiality and stuff like that, or her combo theory. We're pretty much just gonna be talking about what makes her unique as a character, what she brings to the table, what you should know if you're playing her, as far as like what's under the surface and all the unique mechanics inside of her like style of gameplay, and what to do, or like things you should be realizing if you're fighting against a Jacko. Let's go and get started talking about unique mechanics, starting off with her summons. So right off the bat, you notice she has summon meter, and when she does a summon, it actually uses summon the meter, put it down. Now, as you can notice, there are two bars. There is the yellow bar, and then there's this gray bar underneath. The gray bar underneath is going to be the actual command bar. So when you actually do a command, it's actually going to take the gray bar rather than the yellow one. The yellow one just stops for a second and then it starts going up again. The gray bar sort of just goes to wherever the yellow bar is at, but your first command is going to be of that gray bar. Just keep that in mind when you're using the actual summons. When it comes to the actual summons themselves, she can hold it rather than actually just summoning it, and she could do all her commands from that too. Or she has the commands themselves. When the minion is out, of course, when the minion is out as well, you can interact with it with all your normals. As you can see, all our normals do, and they have different trajectories as far as like what happens depending on what you use to hit them with. Now, the other thing to keep in mind when it comes to the actual minions themselves is that they can only take 2 hits. So as you see, it stays out a long time. You can even do commands for a while as well. But the moment you do 2 hits on it, 1, 2, it goes away. So it only can take 2 hits when it comes to your normals. So in order to sort of prolong this, you can sort of pick it up before it go away. So if you can like get it before it go away, like that, then you can get one more toss in, or you can use it for all the commands when it's in your hand like this and stuff like that, until you finally throw it or let it go, and then it will finally go away for the last time. So just keep that in mind, that you can actually prolong its actual leaving of the screen. Now, the enemies can attack these too, so keep that in mind. They attack these, or if they make Jacko, I believe, block, or even on hit, they will go away. So keep that in mind as well when it comes to your minions. The other unique mechanic when it comes to Jacko is that she can special cancel this kick move into any of the interactions that have to do with her minions, which is everything else. So she could do it into a summon, or she could do it onto the actual commands themselves, even if she don't have a minion out. So you can see, if you have it out, then of course the minion will do stuff, but if you don't have it out, you do like this. Now, it does take meter to do any of these. Just keep that in mind, that if you're going to be special canceling this kick into anything, it's going to take some of your summon meter for any of these actions, regardless if a minion is out or not. It will take your meter, so just keep that in mind. All right, so now that we went over what makes her unique as a character, let's finally start going over her normals, starting with 5P. So 5P is going to be a pretty standard jab button. It can self cancel into each other. It also has the ability to anti-air because of how high it hits, so just keep that in mind. 2P also is the same thing, pretty similar. Self chain, it can also cancel into her, obviously, her other normals. You could get a quick combo from jab like that into like 6H like that. So same thing with P, also could go into 6H, stuff like that for a quick combo. Then we have her 6P, pretty standard 6P, pretty average as far as her total duration goes. A lot of her normals, you'll notice, are the same from her Exard if you played that game. So you'll see a lot of similarity as far as things we're going to see here. But yeah, 6P, pretty standard, nothing too crazy to write home about. Her Far Slash, this button is pretty good, or we should probably go into her case first. Her K, standing K, this is a very good button. Get anti-air at the angle that it hits at, so it, you can use this as a sort of anti-air. And because of how her 2D hits, you can do max range sweeps, which is nice. She doesn't have any dead zones when it comes to that. Her 2K is going to be a low, pretty nice long 2K as well, hits pretty far. I was thinking Milia's was good until I fought her with Milia, and yeah, this 2K is definitely very big. And then of course you could go into sweep because, once again, no dead zones. Now her Far Slash, this is going to be a very good poke for her, but it's not going to have too much combo potential when you're using it as a poke at this distance. When you're a little bit closer, you can hit H with it, but at this distance, you really can't get anything. You can cancel into summons if you want. That's pretty much the only thing you do. You can't even get the kick because it's too far. But just keep in mind, it is a pretty good standard poke. Now we have our 2S. So this button, you can use it in hit confirms or block strings, or mainly actually block strings. Not even hit confirms actually, which is why I pretty much don't recommend using it in that sense, because it doesn't really hit well. But you can use it in block strings if you want. You need dash momentum to make it work. If you don't have dash momentum, it won't work, and that is the problem. But what this button lacks in like block string potential, it makes up for in its anti potential. Because of how low she is to the ground, it's going to be a very good anti-air for opponents that are right above her. It does have a slight dead zone, which is like right in front of her, so if it does, they don't like hit that ball area, then it could sort of miss. But just understanding that range and where it's used at can make this tool very, very strong for anti-air for her outside of 6P, because of the combo potentials you get from hitting with 2S. Now, talking about this button right here, you're not really going to be using this in neutral too much, outside of if you're trying to interact with one of your minions and you're trying to like fling it forward and stuff like that. Mainly, this is going to be used for like a block string filler when it comes to like fishing for counter hits. This is going to be the same pretty much thing for 2H. It's going to be used for like combos, so like combo filler, and also block string fishing for counter hits, stuff like that. Or if you're trying to get a certain trajectory of your minion, of course. So you're not going to really be using this one in neutral as much either. Now, when it comes to her actual D normals, 5D, nothing too crazy. The like green flame is like where the hitbox is at, so it's decent range, nothing too crazy, but you know, it's okay range. Her 2D we were talking about before. Now this is unsafe on block. If you let it rock, it can be punished. However, this can be followed up into this kick, which is a natural frame trap, so you can frame trap with the kick naturally. And don't forget, this can be canceled into this. You can do stuff like this, backdash and then get away. This could be pretty hard for people to deal with because of the cancels. Jacko probably deal with it herself because she has this nice 6H right here, which we're about to talk about right now. So her 6H, this button is going to be good for, as you can see, anti-airing stuff like this. So if a person is jumping back or something, pretty good. Or you can stop their approach because of how air dashes work. You can sort of, you know, see the little glyph symbol in the back. It gives you enough time if you're at this distance to hit your opponent out the sky and potentially, you know, set things up from there. I don't think you're really getting combos from it that much outside of the corner, because in the corner some of her tools do work a little bit differently. So this actually does cause wall bounce. So with the wall bounce of her like kick, you can do things, stuff like that. We're gonna talk about her specials in just a second, but let's talk about her jump normals before we get to there. So JP, this is going to be a standard like air to air or air to ground. It could be used like, you definitely hit crouchers too. So I know the hitbox don't look like it does, but it definitely hits crouchers. Don't worry about it. Now this is going to be her best air to air. The best thing about this button is the fact that how her air dash works. So her air dash, like unlike some other characters where once you press the button, it starts to like drastically descend. That doesn't happen with Jacko. Instead, she goes the entire distance of her like air dash, as you can see. Pretty weird as far as like how air dashes work in this game. Just keep that in mind, and she actually sort of really uses that really long air dash that she has. Now her JS is very good as well. This is going to be a nice air to ground button. It also crosses up, so very, very good for this long air dash. You know, even if you don't know what side you're going to land on, you're probably going to be okay because it's going to cross up for you with pretty much ease. Same thing with her JH. This is going to also have the ability to cross up, and it's a 2-hit normal, so you can hit with it once or you can hit with it twice, which is nice. So you can get one hit. I believe the 2 hits is definitely easier if it crosses up like that, and then you can do follow-ups from there. So yeah, pretty good when it comes to that situation. Very good for her when it comes to that. Just keep in mind that you have 2 buttons that cross up, and one is a double hitting crossing overhead, which is very nice. Now her JD is going to be something I don't see too much use for outside of if you're trying to like hit one of your minions at a certain trajectory, or if you're trying to bait an anti-air. So because it like sort of pushes her back, if I would have Jacko like try to anti-air me like this, it look like she's coming in, look like you're about to be the anti-air, and then bam, you get punished, right? So it's very good for like, you know, forcing opponents to stop trying to anti-air you at certain angles. So it could be very good with that type of situation in mind, or to hit the minions, but you're not going to be using it to like play like a neutral game with, or like trying to approach with stuff like that. It's really going to be used for those two main situations, I feel like: to bait anti-airs and to hit your minions at certain angles. All right, so now that we talked about her actual normals, let's start talking about her special. So starting off with the kick again. So this kick can be special cancel into any of her other commands, which is very nice as long as you got meter. It can also be done in the air as well. You can TK it. I don't know if TK has any practicality, but you can do it. Now the kick does give you a wall bounce in the corner, and you can follow this up at certain height for stuff like this. So you can get some nice combo potential when it comes to the actual kick in the corner as well. Mid screen, the kick can be used to send the opponent flying, and you can do stuff like that. So you can do 2K2D into that as well. You know, you do it from a couple of things. 2D is going to be the main thing you're pretty much going to do it from, though. Or this 2H here is going to be another good way for you to send them full screen if you want to, and start setting up things like that. So just keep in mind that this kick can also be canceled like we were talking about. That's going to be very important for her game plan as far as how things work for her, because the kick can also be interacted with the minion like this. Now, if you do something like this, this can still be interrupted. This doesn't give it any special properties, even though it's going red and coming at you really fast. You can still hit it with your buttons as in a person that's fighting this. I'm just being very bad right now. There you go. But you could definitely hit it. Now, the thing about this, and the reason why I was saying the cancel is so important for Jacko, is because she can do stuff like this. So you think that is about to come into your like actual range, it stops right before it gets you, because she inputs the second command, and then it whiff punishes you. So this makes it to where you're scared to press buttons on her, because you don't know if she's going to cancel into the other special to try to stop you from trying to intercept her minion from hitting you. This makes for a really nice mind game of when she's putting out the minions and tossing them and kicking them to you and stuff like that. So very, very cool that she actually had that at her disposal, and I think it really complements her like gameplay style and stuff like that in this version of the game for sure. Now, talking about the actual commands themselves, so we have the attack command. Once again, it does take the first, it takes the bar underneath, so the gray bar, and then it starts using the actual main bar right after that. But yeah, you can keep doing it as long as you don't hit it. Once again, you hit it twice and it goes away. The defend one, this is going to be a guard crush. So this one you can't really get a combo from, but it does stop people from trying to hit your minion. So say if you do something like, I don't know, this, and you want to like stop them from hitting your minion right away, try to hit it, and yeah, that gives you time to run in as the Jacko player and stuff like that. So, and rather than doing an attack, if you want to like do that, you can do that instead, because if you run out of meter, then they can sort of hit it. So sometimes they will like block, or they will like try to intercept it or whatever, but this allows the threat of they don't know when you're going to do that, and so it gives you a chance to run in and stuff like that. So it just makes for once again another nice mind game for her tools. The explosion is what it is, explosion. Now this explosion can hurt you too, so you do have to find setups to where it will explode on the opponent and not you when it comes to block strings and combos. Making it even exploding you, even holding it. I think she drops it like right before. Yeah, but it will still hurt you if you're inside the vicinity of that as well. So just keep that in mind when it comes to that. The actual other command is going to be this command right here, which is going to be putting them back. So as you can see, you can put it back. Now when you do this, it seems like what happens is you gain some of your meter back depending on what you have. As you can see, it does take some meter, but you do gain some of that back. It's almost like half of what you use, almost. So you do gain some back for doing that, which is also nice, especially if you like throw it and you just want to gain it back. So if you do something like this, or and you just want to, you know, take it away so they don't hurt it, but you also gain the meter back, so you actually like put something on them and then you like make it go away. You do stuff like that as well, if you want to save your bar or meter and not have the minion just like sort of just eat a hit or something like that if you don't want to deal with it. So you can use that as well. The last thing you could do is just, like I said, drop it. The dropping doesn't have a hitbox when it comes to that, but you can drop it and sort of like go for cross-ups and stuff, you know, because once you let go, you can actually do normal. So you drop it, go for cross-ups and stuff. Pretty unique things and stuff you can do. You can like go for air dashes really low to the ground and start, you know, trying to just mix up what the opponent is thinking you're going to do with the minion in your hand. I guess the last thing we didn't really talk about too much is like she can hold the minion and of course toss it, but we showed that plenty of times that she can hold it and toss it at the opponent, and then she can do commands from there too. Whenever He's done tossing it. So just keep that in mind that you have that option too to throw it. You can also do it in the air. You can backdash and stuff to try to change the angles of what's happening. You can drop it as well and do different attacks on it like that. So don't think just because you have it in your hand you can't do anything. Now, one thing to do, notice when you do this, you can't block. She has like a faster run backwards, but she can't block. So they gave her just like run backwards because she can't block when she had it in her hand. So just keep that in mind. You can't block as well. All right, last thing to talk about is her super. So we're gonna start talking about her reverse super right here. So this is her reversal super, the one that has Envol 4. This is going to be a command grab. This command grab is not zero after flash. What I mean by that is an opponent can hold up. They weren't holding up before. They can hold up right after their flash and get away from it. So some command grabs, some games, you know, during the animation, if you were close enough, there's nothing you could do after that flash is over. You just caught. In this version, or for Jacko in particular, you can just hold up. It's not a true command grab that's like that scary, but it can definitely be scary if they run up and like try to do a meaty and you do something like that. Then they're definitely caught because they can't get away in time. So this is going to definitely be a reversal. It's pretty decent amount of damage too. So just keep that in mind. It is going to be your wall break super as well. Now, when it comes to her actual other supers, she has these commands she could give to the minions, or these buffs rather. So this buff is going to allow it to not be able to get hit by the enemy, so they can't do anything to it. Now keep in mind, when the enemies actually hit this, they can special cancel even when this is not on. Just period, they can actually special cancel. It's considered a hit regardless, so just keep in mind they can do something off that. But this also resets them, as we stated before. So if I do something like this and I do this, they won't go away after the 2 hits, as we stated before. They will last until the super ends. So if I have another super, I can charge him up again, you know, until this super runs out. He is going to stay, which is very nice that you can do that. Now, the cool thing about the minion supers as well is you can tell which one they have by the buff symbol. So this one's going to put like little blue sparks around them, as you can see. Then there is the actual buff one. This one is the buff one. Got like little red squares on it. And yes, there is a symbol for if you have both up at the same time. You have this one. You have this one. And then there are like these green arrows telling you, hey, don't mess with this dude. That's a bad boy right there. So that's pretty cool that you got both on at the same time. Talking about the actual buff super more, this is going to rapidly increase your bar, so you can just really go ham with the commands until this actually runs out. You can be very good for like, you know, burst save combos, or just period if you got like, you know, if you want to like keep the pressure up in a certain situation. This could very, you know, be a game check situation, especially if they got no health, because the chip on this could be very massive. You can just keep going, you know, sort of break the wall. They really, you know, it's very hard for them to get out because it can make it into like a true block string, so they got to deal with it along with whatever you're doing at the same time too. So it can be pretty difficult for the opponents to deal with if you learn how to do it right. And that pretty much sums up Jacko. Now, chat, are there any questions?